We are coming to the end. I think, should we close now? Okay. Just one afternoon left and we'll be gone. I promised, can I have a flip chart? I promised that I would share with you about breaking barriers. Put it here. Take that. I'll put it up. All right, this is going to be one of the best, if not the best session at Proclaim so far. It's also going to be short. Also, one of the things we can already start celebrating is that there will be no papers to fill in any numbers. But if you provoke me, I can come up with a tool. So I was watching Pastor Godman on YouTube, and he said something so profound. You know, when you sort of know something but you don't have language for it, and I want to share it with you. So I've been doing the breaking boundaries breakout. That rhymes too much. Originally we did breaking 200, then I just decided let's do breaking boundaries because everyone is fighting a certain type of boundary, okay? And together with the people who were doing the workshop, we came up, Bishop Gerard, so good to see you. Thank you for coming. Hey. We came up with there is only one answer to breaking the barriers. In church life, there are barriers like 100. Anyone ever struggled to go past 100? I have. Yeah. 100 can be a real thing. You're rowing so hard, you're sweating, you're fasting, you're praying. 100. Every time the numbers come in, you're like, what's wrong? And then one of those days, miracle of miracles, you break 100, 110, 120, and then you come across the next hurdle, 200. It's actually one of the commonest hurdles. And it's because to go from a church of 100 to 200, you need to restructure something. And once you restructure and go from Paps and Mom's church, and then you reach 200, the structure that took you to 200, then it becomes nearly impossible to go to 500 until you change something. I'm talking to church planters and pastors. Anyone struggled with 200? Yeah. And then you break 200 and quickly you're at 500. And then 500 becomes the new, it's almost like a demon. You're fighting like, what's wrong with this church? Why can't we consistently break 500? You go 550, 530, 480, 470, like that. And then one day you break 500, those who are trying to break 500. And once you break 500 and you have the right structural systems, it's easy to go to 1,000. And then 1,000 becomes a fight. Yes, if you talk to many people, because 1,000 is a very systemized church to a degree, you'll wonder why it's such a problem to just, why can't you just, if you've been rising steadily from 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, why don't you just keep going? 1,100, 1,200. You see, there seems to be some gravitational forces around 1,000. And then those who break 1,000, the next big problem is 2,000. You'll fight 2,000, fight it, I'm talking about 2,000 in one. I'm talking about church in one box, one place. 2K. There's a wedding next door, by the way, so we are so blessed. Now, then you break 2,000, and then the next, at least most researchers say 10,000 is the next problem. So if you go past 2,000, your next problem is 10K. But the answer to all these challenges is, did I give you the answer? I told you it is one. And I haven't given it to you yet. Are you sure? Why do I feel like I already gave it? Okay, it's one word. Capacity. Yeah. Capacity. Leadership capacity. The church is equal to the capacity of the leader. So no one ever gets more than the capacity you have. Now, the challenge with words like capacity is trying to get into the definitions of it all. Because, what do you mean capacity? Is it more prayer? Is it more fasting? Is it more what? Is it money? So you struggle. But then, as I thought about it, this is what I learned from Pastor Godman, and it made so much sense. Okay? So let's say your church has grown to what number? $200. Okay? Your pastor, 200. That's the size of your church. How you know your capacity is 200? Even if you have a church member's roll that has 700 people on it, the number that comes is 200. All right? And then you're fighting. Of course, you can keep expanding. 200 is not too bad. Sometimes you can fight enough to take it. But I'm just using it as a lesson. Meanwhile, you have leaders with you. Huh? You have your team. Let's say your team has some people in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you want to go to 1,000. Okay, let's say you want to go to 700. Okay, 1,000 sounds better to me. Do you know what's going on here? Your capacity together is 200. And maybe you as the leader, you're scratching your head saying, how do I expand? I'm about to give you the fastest route to expansion. Even as the DJ that side gets really excited. You know, it's good to be a Christian. Yeah, because you can think about very interesting solutions to this problem. Which I will leave at thought level. I will not share anything. I'm reading your mind. Guys, that side, can you still hear me? Awesome. Do you know that to just increase your personal capacity to 1,000, which you could through a lot of things, reading, you could work harder, which can be also dangerous. It's easier to say, brothers and sisters, we all have the Holy Spirit. If this leader here increases their capacity to 200, and this one here who has been saying, Mommy, I want milk, increases their capacity to 200, And this one who has been asking for cassava and beans increases their capacity to 200. And another one to 200. When you increase the capacity, when these leaders are able to not really increase, but to tap into and deploy their capacity, together you are at 1,000 already. I hope it's not looking complicated to you, because I can see some pain on some faces. Okay. How do I say this? You have a limited amount of time, a limited amount of energy, a limited amount of resources as a person, a limited amount of contacts and relational elasticity. So even if you wanted to increase your capacity, there is always a limit beyond which you can't read more books, can't pray more prayers, you can't fast more fasting, what else? You can't give more money. You have already given all the ones you had. So you have already, you have exhausted your capacity. Now you are moving into burning out. Meanwhile, all these other people are there enjoying you exhausting your capacity. They are not tapping into theirs because maybe you haven't told them they need to, or you haven't allowed them to, or you haven't encouraged them to, or you haven't threatened them that if they don't, anyway, whatever method you like to use. This is too simple for some of you. But I hope that even for those for whom it is so simple, you will see it for what it is. Pastor Flo was struggling to grow her location. I told her, start zones. She said, I don't want to start zones. I want to first build the culture. They had, I think, 15 MCs. I said, okay, you build the culture, but you will not grow. Start zones. The moment she started zones, she grew. There's always, because she was now having other people pick up responsibility to start missional communities. So to the degree that you allow the leaders around you to push their capacity, that is going to be, your capacity is collective. If you look at worship harvest, don't think it is my individual capacity. It's the collective capacity of all these network leaders and location pastors that makes us a stronger church, because where they are, I can't do what Pastor Evangeline is doing in the UK. However much I want, I can't do it. It has to be her capacity. I can't lend her my capacity for her to do what she's doing. I can't do what Pastor Flo is doing in Barara. I can't do what Pastor B3 is doing in Gayaza. It has to be her capacity to build that church. And wherever you are to build that church, you also have to be looking at other people's capacities to come out. Okay. Steps to take. But I don't know. Are you sure? I'm telling you. If you had a conglomerate of businesses and somehow, miraculously, one of your CEOs is Elon Musk, another one is Jeff Bezos, another one is Bill Gates, another one is Larry Ellison, 5 of them, look, even if you were sleeping the whole day and playing golf and only eating, if they deployed their capacity, you would look so smart. Meanwhile, you're the dumbest in the group. The only smart thing about you is you found them. And hired them. Yeah, that's all. everything else, there is nothing. Okay, I'm trying to make this quick and relational. So you're trying to break a certain barrier. You want to go to a certain number. It is simply the people you haven't deployed into their capacities. It's as simple as that. So your whole strategy should be thinking, which capacity haven't I deployed or called out? Okay, steps. Step 1 is vision. So you finally realized these guys who are sitting here, breastfeeding, need to become soldiers. You call for a meeting and say, boys, you're going to start leading. The first thing they are going to need is a very clear vision. What are we going to achieve? Look, it's not about it being impressive. It just has to be clear. It's not about being impressive. It must be clear. If we are stuck somewhere at 35 and we must cross 100, make that clear. We are going from here to there. Don't say we are going to 2,000 when you're at 35. They will know you're lying. They will know now you have become a motivational speaker. You are no longer a pastor. Have a clear, attainable, achievable vision, which when you cast to your team, they will see, okay, I think we can do this. I'm rushing. 2. Team selection. You have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. I don't have enough time to explain a lot of things because I'm about to show you something really incredible. I like teaching with some level of demonstration. Team selection. I'm about to say something really bad, but to a degree it's true. It's from John Maxwell. He said, you can't take ducks to eagle school. There are some leaders who think you can make anyone do anything. And after that scar on your back and one on your leg and one on the foot and one here and plus several in your heart, you know it's not true. Yeah, not everyone can do anything. There is a popular game called football, aka soccer. If you have a vision to be in the top 4 in the Premier League, your next most important thing is team selection. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you brand it. If you get the guys playing in your village football team where you come from and take them to England and say, you're going to be in the top 4, you're finished. Here is the problem with team selection. We all like people that are easy to lead. The problem is that the people who are easy to lead also usually sometimes have the lowest capacity. And the people with a higher capacity are the people who are harder to lead. Okay, that's just something I've said. Here is another thing I'm going to say. We all like people who are available, the people who are around. The guy is always hanging around church. You're thinking, I need to start another zone. This guy is always seated here. Why don't I deploy him as a zonal pastor? Please understand there is a reason why he's not busy. There is a reason why other people are not trying to pay for his time. Are you understanding? Team selection. Who is on your team? Available people? Easy to lead people? okay. But you're likely not going to take the hill. Yeah. You have to be led by the Holy Spirit and also strategic. Why was Paul? I mean, Jesus had to find that one. Highly educated, he could do cross-culture, Jewish, Greek. He had Roman citizenship. I mean, everything you would need in a guy who needs to be roaming through different countries without a problem. Capacity. You are trying to increase your capacity. Do you have a clear vision what you need these people to do? 2, have you chosen the right people? 3, I'm rushing because I need to show you something important. Responsibility. Okay. What do I mean by responsibility? When you have a team on the football pitch, 11 players, everyone has responsibility for a certain area on that football field. Okay? The strikers, number 9 knows, look, your role is not goalkeeping. If we are not scoring, you are the one we are going to be looking at and say, dude, we are sending the ball into the box. Why aren't you converting anything? That's the responsibility of being a number 9 on a football team, or a 10. Or if you're a playmaker in the middle there, 8, attacking midfield. People are expecting you to receive the ball from the back end and distributing it wisely to the people who are going to score. Or if you are a defending midfielder, 4-6, or you're on the back end, the back 3-3-2-5. If you are the goalkeeper, we're expecting you to stop the ball from. They don't kick the ball towards the goal. You look at it, you start sweating. Before you know it, it has gone in. And then you say, but why didn't the number 9 come to help me? Couldn't you see that the ball was coming my way? The people in Worship Harvest Nigeria don't expect the people in Worship Harvest Siganga to come and help them with their PGA. At all. They will not do an akazo for you. Do you know that the promised land was divided into different tribes? For what purpose? Everyone was given the part they need to take. So once you have selected the team, you say, sister, this other area, we don't have anyone coming there from there to church. But now, that's yours. Go fast, pray, do evangelism, start missional communities, and maybe in 6 months, how many are you going to have? And then she will say, I'm going to bring you 100 people. Bless you. Off she goes. Next is she's going to be bringing 100 people. It's not you, the pastor. That's how you deploy their capacities. Worship Harvest Nalia has a sizable number of people coming to church because there are 27 zones with 300 plus missional communities. So even when it rains, usually the disciples when it rains. Yeah. When it's dry, it's a mixture of disciples and believers. When it rains, disciples. I shall continue. So you distribute responsibility and say, Nalia zone, Chaliwajala zone, Mbalwa zone, Mbalwa 2, Chambogo 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's up to that leader also to distribute within their jurisdiction. That's what they told Moses. Choose leaders of thousands, hundreds, 50s, 10s. Because he was doing everything by himself and going to die and kill everyone. Because he wasn't deploying the capacity of the leaders of thousands, the leaders of hundreds, the leaders of 50s, the leaders of 10s. Now let me ask you, do you think the leaders of 10s were over the leaders of thousands? Okay, thank you. That's about team selection, by the way. Is this helping anyone? You can use this in your other areas of life, business, etc. 4, training and coaching. Training is training, coaching is coaching. It's specific. Like the way you're diving, something is missing. Increase this or reduce this. Your ball control is not so good. Your passing is good, but you're going to lose the ball and will concede. So you start coaching ball control. You see, when you say football team, you don't know that there are coaches for every section. There's a goalkeeping coach, there's a striking coach, there's a ball control coach, there's a passing coach. Yeah? There's a set piece coach. There's a coach for every different part. Now you tell all the people, come here, hey, increase energy, you're not doing well. But they feel the vibe. They need coaching. 5, accountability for results. 4, results, FR. After the match, we lost 3-4. We need to watch the videos. Who did what where? When the ball came into your area, on the wing, you're number 2. What were you doing in the center circle? You're counting. Yeah, you had gone to abuse another player that tackled you badly when the ball was passed. This is going to help someone. Because for many of us leaders, we don't do accountability. We just say, hey, that's what happened. Okay, let's try next week. How do we know we are going to improve if there is no clear accountability of this is what you did? What are you going to change about it? How to deploy the capacity of your team. I can even end here. 6. How did I put this? Celebrate and give permission. Okay, like once you are counting etc. I mean, that's your area. Okay, so you may need to innovate some things, but also when you get it right, however little, we have to celebrate it and say, hey, you have deployed your capacity. That's really good. Makes sense. Can someone help me take this away? I think. Yeah, give. This is celebrating, or you can add give permission if you want as a 7th point. Okay. So recently, what will be? Like after I've given, I shouldn't control you too much. Like the coach does not control the player. The coach gives the player responsibility for that portion of the pitch, and they give permission to the player to use his own skills, creativity to solve the problem. Yeah. Otherwise, if you say this is exactly how you should do it, it's not going to work, because they are not automatons, they are human beings. Okay? So that's what everyone should be trying to do with your team. Now, recently, we came across a great idea. Somebody said great idea. We said, we met as a team, and okay, maybe I was the one who came up with the idea, because they may deny being part of it. And I said, I think now that we are growing our capacity, all of us, we need to do a thing where every 6 weeks Someone else runs the whole church instead of me. So for the 6 weeks, you're in charge of the leadership meetings, or the reporting systems, the land searches, negotiations, payments, being on people's cases, if at all, and other such. And then we arranged the names in order and realized that alphabetical order, the first one was Angela, Pastor Angela Oko. So she went first. So I'm going to invite her with 2 of the people in the team to share their own story. Okay, Pastor Angela, Pastor Jean, Pastor B3. They are sharing their story of leading the church. That's why I look so relaxed. They have been at it, and I've been, where was I? Afro.
Thank you so much, Apostle Mose. Church. Apostle walks the talk in every sense. And what he's been teaching you is what he has been doing through us. And so, like he has said, we're using the 6x6. That's what we call it. It's Bill Hybels that came up with that model, but we've tweaked it to suit our movement. And using the 6x6 model, we are each, as leaders, going to have 6 weeks leading the movement. Now, Apostle has just said that Pastor Angela went first. In fact, she did not do 6 weeks only. She did 12 weeks because she was that good. Yeah. She did 12 weeks. Now, and in the second 6 weeks, what she was doing is coaching or training the next person. But I'm going to ask Pastor Angela to first share her experience of being the CEO of Worship Harvest Ministries. Yeah. Pastor Angela.
Thank you so much.
Share
Pastor
who you
Jean.
are and what you lead, and then you can tell us about your experience.
All right. My name is Angela Okulo. Yes. My husband and I lead the Peculiar Network. Yeah. They're the ones making noise. So, Apostle, thank you so much. So, Apostle calls us for a meeting, and I think towards the end of the meeting, he sort of, like when the meeting is ending, he, brings up this idea. He said he had a great idea.
AOB.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
AOB.
Yeah, it was AOB. It was a Zoom call. As we close. Like, wow. So he said, great idea, and our ears are perked. Tweak. Wow. What is this thing going to lead us to thousands? Anyway. So he says, I have this idea. Each person lead the movement for 6 weeks, and in alphabetical order, you're the one who starts, Pastor Angela. So the rest, like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, we were laughing on the call. We were laughing and waiting for him to say jokes. And we laughed so much, and we laughed so much. We were honestly quite confused. We laughed. We laughed. Do you guys have any questions? We're like, as in? Then there on the call is like, so what are your goals? I was like, right now. He said, yes, now. So I gave some goals, which were very, very safe. And he challenged me. It's like, no. For example, I'll share later some of the things that were achieved in that time. So for example, our physical garage attendance as a movement at that time was around 15,000. So I think I said, to grow the physical garage attendance to 15,000, like 500. He said, no, 16. Then he's like, no, 17K.
Oh, yes.
In 6 weeks. I said, the Lord is good and his mercy endures forever. So anyway, I got off that call. We were fasting.
Yeah.
And I remember sending a message to Pastor B3 and saying, I know that this news should make me want to fast more, but I just want to eat. I need ice cream. But very quickly, what are some of the things that I learned that we can never stop learning? There's so much about the movement that I thought that I knew. There's so much that I still don't know. You know, I learned so much about land. I learned how to think beyond my location and my network. You know, like you're thinking, where should resources go? Also, Apostle, anyone who would enter his inbox would say, ask Pastor Angela. But through that, I also learned that I can ask Apostle many questions every day. That sometimes, yes, someone would ask him, a pastor, then he says, ask Pastor Angela. Then I forward the message back to him. And I tell him, what should we do? You know, because sometimes it's something like, we need to pay NSSF and pay as you earn, this is how much money we need. Or, Apostle, we need chairs here, ask Pastor Angela. But then there was just a sense of, not but then, and then there was also a sense of just stewardship, right? So for example, Pastor B3 will be my very, very good friend, and maybe she needs 50 chairs. And the inclination as a friend is to want to give the movement, resources to Pastor B3. Because I know that there's a location pastor who asked for TVs. And then I told them, how much money do you have? Buy those TVs. Because if I buy this location a TV, there's another location that has just broken through 100 and an extra set of chairs will greatly bless them.
Yeah.
So I started making decisions, based on what information do we have. And so then I had to look at the information. We put Chairman Julius on a call one day. And we put the Worship Harvest financial documents up. And we kept him on that call maybe for 2 hours, asking questions. What does this mean? Where is this money? Why is it going here? Why is it doing this? Now suddenly all the team was interested in what was happening because they knew that they were coming to lead. We got Pastor Chris Kawesa, started asking him about entities. What is Harvest International School? What are they doing? Brain Cafe. We're asking questions like Apostle. Like suddenly we were concerned. You know that prayer that you keep praying, God help me love the church? They just need to make you lead it.
It's a constant prayer now.
Yes. But then I also prayed a lot because the things I wrote down, not that we should compare ourselves to people, but I did. I've told Apostle many times that it's impossible. So I had to pray. I said, God help me. I understood his mercies. I knew every morning very well. Yeah. Also walking through people. All those goals that I had people leading. Okay? Pastor B3 was helping me with Oikos. Pastor Bridget was helping me with the land things. Chairman is helping me with the money things. Like each question or each goal I had, already Apostle had a team of competent leaders around them, and I would literally, what should we do? Like we had to get another 1,000 MCs, right? 500 MCs, 500, yes. So I came to Pastor B3. I said, what should we do? She said, just ask every location, to plant an MC this week. And it will change. So I went on the group, made noise, and that week we passed our whole goal. Of 5, wow. But So, many things. What did I really, really appreciate? That Apostle kept asking me questions to help me see what I wasn't seeing. He would say, tell me about, the land situation in Iganga. On it. Pastor Bridget, what is the land? So he kept asking questions that would help me see the gaps, that would help me see more. He was very available. He kept recognizing my efforts. He kept saying, you're doing very well. You're doing very well. You're doing very well. Also, I had been praying that my prophetic gift would go beyond people getting healed and, it's not a bad thing. But I needed it to be movemental. Because each time, they are talking about it, like, the apostle sees, then the prophet does that, sort of CIS stuff. And I remember going to a piece of land and feeling there's a problem. And I kept quiet about it. I didn't say anything. But later, apostle asks one question that then unveiled the issues. So I went to apostle and I told him, I keep feeling like each time I'm talking to him, because sometimes when you're prophetic, you don't have the facts and the figures and and I told him I just had a feeling, and he said, always speak up, because that's what and so I was also affirmed in that gift that, okay, we are sending on this, everything looks okay, but there's something wrong. And so then he said, always speak up. So this is how I'll end, Pastor Jean.
I'll tell you how to end, please.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Forgive me.
Go ahead.
Hey, okay. I just wanted to say the things. Okay. So, what did we achieve? She's the current CEO. She's the boss. When she says, I'll tell you what to say, I'm like, sorry. So in that time, allow me to just talk through the 12 weeks, but not every point. So we were able to purchase 4 pieces of land. Yes. We were able to plant 16 out of the 20 that were the goal. So 16 churches were planted. Yeah. The MCs grew from 3,300 to 4,031. So in 12 weeks, we planted 731 MCs. Yes. One of the goals was proclaim, to bring in the registration. So the proclaim thing kept shifting until it became, we always assume that if people register for free events, maybe 80% will show up. So then the goal was 4,000 registrations. Yeah, so we're able to get to 4,099 registrations. Yeah. Our PGA currently, so we grew from 15 to 17 to 18.
1,000. Yes.
1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. We also had a big event, Jesus Night, which chairman was leading. The goal was to have 5,000 people in this place, and we ended up with 4,955. I believe the rest were like in the parking lot, give or take. We won. We won, chairman. Yes. And there was also another event there, Day of Prayer. We wanted 2,000 people. We got 1,588, just some of the few.
Let's celebrate Pastor Angela. Wow. Massive shoes to fill. And I think you can see the steps that Amo has just described in everything that she has said. A clear vision she had. A team she had. Responsibility distribution she did. Training and coaching Amo was constantly available. Accountability is what she just shared. And celebration, yes, we celebrated.
Yes. If I tell you my gifts, you'll be jealous. So those who don't know.
If you know, you know. But Amo knows how to celebrate people. Yeah. And he obviously gave a lot of permission for her to just exercise her capacity and her gifts. So yeah, Pastor Angela, we celebrate you.
Thank you so much.
I'd like Pastor B3 to also share her experience of being led by a peer in the position of CEO. Yes. Over to you, Pastor B3.
Thank you, Pastor G. All right. Yeah, I paid those guys. You've earned your money, so now keep quiet.
Tell them you also don't have time.
And I wish I had time.
Yeah.
So that call, it was a Zoom call. Apostle actually started by saying, I have very exciting news, but I want us to start with the less exciting stuff, then we get to the real exciting things at the end. And so the exciting news at the end was this idea of, there are times someone gives you news, and instead of having anything logical, you just start laughing and you behave illogically. So we started to laugh on that Zoom call because we thought it's ridiculous. Of course, in my head I was like, of course he's going to change his mind, give it a week or two, the thing will fall apart, then he'll come and fetch it back. So I was even relaxed. I'm like, I'm not the first, my name is not A. So Pastor Angela, we thank God for you. So Pastor Angela begins to lead. And I thought maybe, Apmo would show up for the meetings and maybe she would shadow him. Like, I had my process in my head of this thing, you can't be drastic. It's a movement. Like, we're not talking about a department, a missional community. It's the movement. Like, there's a lot at stake. Do you understand? Like, you can't do it. So we waited. And then that meeting, he wasn't there. And it was Pastor Angela, so you're thinking he's going to show up maybe towards the end, greet us, like something is going to happen. He did not show up. He didn't show up, he didn't call us for meetings. It was Pastor Angela calling for meetings. It was Pastor Angela asking for results. It was so, the first thing is seeing the power of trust.
Yeah.
Like trusting a leader. Because that challenged us to realize what I'm leading is much smaller. Why can't I trust people? If someone can trust a person with a movement, without, 6 weeks of fast coaching you and shadow and over, just on a Zoom call, I've had it over, I trust you, I've discipled you enough to know that you can do it. So one, I was learning trust. Two, Pastor Angela's leadership. First of all, we saw that it's possible. Because she genuinely led so well that after 6 weeks, as a team, we hoped Apostle would allow her to do another 6 before trying to ask another person, because we are like, it's going to be a bit difficult to follow this person because she was exceptional. So seeing her do what Apostle could do, and yet she's a friend and a peer, you suddenly realize, okay, it's possible. It can be done. So what seemed like it was impossible became possible. And then it brought a lot of peer accountability and honor on the group.
Yeah.
And when you came into that network leaders meeting, you would not know that Apostle wasn't there. People showed up on time. People were accountable. People gave reports about what they are supposed to report about. Like, you could never tell the difference to know is Apostle on this call or not. There was never. Like, it showed that Apostle has won in terms of leading a team well to a point that even when he's not there, the culture was exactly the same. So there was high accountability and honor. I feel like as a team, something changed for us.
Something
like we could
changed.
see each other differently.
Yeah.
Like there's there's honor, there's respect, because our peer was leading us, but it was her maybe struggling with feeling like, you guys, like, relax. We're like, no, you are in charge. We are not going to relax. You ask for, we apologize if we've not done something. Please forgive me. I had missed that message. I highly apologize. The same way you would apologize to Apostle. So for the team, something happened there in terms of honor, respect, and accountability. And the last thing I'd say is that I see Pastor Angela differently. It magnified her gifts as a leader. Yes, it completely magnified her gifts as a leader. Like, we all have a certain level of respect for her. Even though she's not the current CEO, we are still consulting because we saw leadership. Because her gifting, she's very detailed and yet relaxed. That's difficult to find usually. I'm sorry for our detailed brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So she's very detailed and she delegates easily. So she used her gifting and her graces to lead. she could quickly see detail in documents and point it out quickly to you. And then she trusts you to do what you said you're going to do. She's not hovering, and I hover a bit. So I was learning, and I'm still learning to say a little bit, Apostle, just a little bit. Even yesterday, I was saying to her, if I was the one in charge of that thing, because she was telling Pastor Flo, relax. You told the people to do the work, now trust them. And I told Pastor Flo, I understand you, but learn to be like her, it's better. Because I was looking at her and thinking, we were even asking her if she should go. I would have been in there, making them feel like they don't even know what they are doing, yet I appointed them to do it. So watching her lead, taught us to trust people. And she stayed her same self, joking, peachy, happy, but when she needed to be intense, yet firm at the same time. So for me, I feel like what happened is that we got to see her. We got to see her giftings, we got to see her abilities, we got to appreciate one of our peers, and now you know that she can lead big things. And now we have another person to consult about certain things where we don't have to only go to Apostle. There's another person on a team that carries certain graces that we can go to. So there was a multiplication of us seeing something.
A real multiplication of Apostle as well in you. Yes.
Yeah.
We actually see him in you because, 12 weeks under his direct tutelage, direct accountability line, direct discipleship, direct everything, something grew in you.
Yeah.
How do you feel it changed the way you lead your network, your ministry side?
Okay, so I forgot to talk about that. Straight away, so I learned from Apostle that there's someone leading. Apostle and Pastor Ari have got Pastor Quaker here at Nalia. And then quickly, I don't know how many meetings I attended for the network. It was either Pastor Stephen or Pastor Solomon leading those meetings, right? And then for the zone, for the location, it was either Elder Duff or Pastor Bay or Pastor Fiona leading the meetings. I realized that once you step up, you create room.
Of course.
And they led very, very well. They did. I would see people posting action points, things they are going to do. It also helped me see them, because you can't hold 1,600 things. So I had to step away, because I can't be meeting the senior leaders and the network and the location pastors and the zonal pastors. So other people took on leadership there. And it helped me see them and helped me recognize that I'm not all that. Do you understand? Yeah. The network can run without me. Yeah. The location can run without me. And seeing them bring up different things. Let's start praying together as location pastors. Let's create this artwork to do this. Things that I would have never thought of. So that's what it did for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So like Pastor Angela just said, I am the current CEO. Thank you, Apostle, for trusting me. Thank you so much. It's big shoes to fill. But what Pastor Angela has done for me to make the transition a little bit seamless is that she apprenticed me in the last 6 weeks of her CEO reign. Let me call it that. Yes. So she carried me along. She taught me everything she knows. One of the best pieces of advice she gave me was consult the Holy Spirit. Yes, it's very true. And it actually works. She said, pray a lot and consult the Holy Spirit. Yeah. But she also just told me, be very transparent, be very communicative, be very accountable, anticipate new leadership, anticipate promotion. Because if you don't expect to move up, then you'll never build the systems that are going to help you lead that level at which you are. So anticipate promotion always, because the reason you're going to say no when you're called up is because you don't know what to do with what you're leading. Yeah. So that is exactly what I managed to do as I prepared for my 6 weeks. And so my real disciples, the ones here, Pastor Evangeline, Pastor Sam, Pastor Agi, Pastor Zinzi, they are carrying a lot right now because I built systems before I was called up.
Yeah.
And they're banging it. They really are. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. But it's been 1.5 weeks now for me, almost 2 weeks of being the CEO. I am learning so much. I feel like I'm already growing. I'm a lay pastor, and I thought I would carry my business capacity into the ministry capacity. Some of it is working, but not everything is working.
Can I say, Pastor Jean, because
Yes.
you won't say it about yourself. So one of the things, yes, that Pastor Jean has brought, because she's an accountant and has financial knowledge. Of course, Apostle said, before I sign anything, Pastor Angela has to look through. So I had the eye of detail to look through the accounts and the accountabilities, but I did not have the technical know-how. So the first time I said, okay, Pastor Jean, come, let's do this together so that you can see. Hey, the accounts office was stressed. You know, yes, because she's actually asking questions about using her knowledge that has now totally uplifted and shifted the way they are doing accountability centrally. So I really appreciate that about you. Continue.
Wow. Thank you. But no, it's really about Apostle having multiplied himself, Apostle multiplying himself in the leaders that he has called. Yes? And it is working. Capacity is growing. Very soon, we shall all be able to lead movements of this size. And we have also learned, and we're going to start building capacity around us so that this is actually multiplied.
Pastor Jean.
Yes.
What is it that you learned? Because you said you are leading, business side,
Yes.
and then you came here. What is it that you learned that you can't just, you didn't finish the sentence?
I didn't finish that sentence. I think in the ministry, in the movement, the way you lead the people here is very different from the way you lead the people on the other side. Because here you find family, which we haven't yet replicated in the business world. So it's a lesson for me, because leading family is very different. It's very different. It's a lesson for me to carry this that I'm doing into the business side, and I know I'm going to see similar growth there as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Apostle, for trusting us and for leading us and for helping us grow. Amen.
Wow, can you help me appreciate these amazing leaders?